Hello, I'm Rob, and today I'm going to be reading a little story called Joe's Bros and the Bus That Goes, which rhymes. And that's by Paul Carenza, illustrated by Liz and Kate Pope. And that doesn't rhyme, but the rest of the book does. Now come and meet Joe and his squillion brothers, like Asher and Dan and Judah and others. With so many bros, a big car was a must. So they took all their trips in their dad's minibus. Dad just couldn't help it. Joe was his favourite. Choose a coat, Joe, and you know what? I'll pay for it. Joe's brothers' coats were all dark grey or duller, so Joe picked a jacket of every bright colour. Green sleeves, silver lining, blue collar, gold top, black belt, chocolate buttons, the best in the shop. Joe's brothers frowned at the reds, blues and greens, not helped as they left when Joe told them his dreams. Hey brothers, I dreamed that we had sheaves of wheat and yours bowed to mine like you knelt at my feet. And the sun, moon and stars, they bowed too. Who'd have thunk? And as he talked, the doors closed with a pfft, beep, clunk. Joe's jacket snagged on the minibus door. As the bus trundled off, his coloured coat tore. Hey guys, wait up! You're my bros. Well, that's what matters. But they'd gone. Joe looked down, dreams and jacket in tatters. The brothers had sold poor young Joe down the street. A long way from home, he was sad and downbeat. But he landed a job at the Potty's big mansion. They needed a cleaner. Blame over expansion. Joe liked Mrs. Potty, liked cleaning her jewellery, but one day she grabbed him for a bit of tomfoolery. Come on now, Joe, I'm just after some kisses. And so Joe ran off quickly, pursued by this missus. Out in the street, a policeman was strolling. He spotted the jewels that poor Joe was still holding. Out stepped Mrs. Potty. She shouted, "Stop, thief!" Well, she chased me, shouted Joe in disbelief. The police didn't trust him, so Joe was then driven in a rusty police van and taken to prison. His cellmate had worked for the king as a waiter. Hey, Joe, I've had dreams. Could you be my translator? I dreamed of these grapes and some vines, and a tree. Joe replied, well, that means God says you'll be free. You'll be back in your job by the king, serving ale. And the next day, he was. But forgot Joe in jail. Years later, a crazy dream bothered the king. Fat cows and thin cows. But what did it all mean? The waiter said, I know a man who can tell us. The king's finest carriage brought Joe to the palace. Your dream, said Joe, means 7 years of good harvests. But stockpile or next 7 years we'll all starve. It's important to store in a warehouse that's large. I will, said the king. And you'll be in charge. So, Joe became boss of collecting the grain for 7 good years of nice crop growing rain. The next 7 years, the tractors went quiet. But thanks to Joe's storage, all ate a good diet. A familiar bus came. Joe's brothers were hungry. They'd not stored like Joe had, so travelled cross-country. But who was this helpful man giving them their dinner? Their brother, last seen in the bus's rear-view mirror? They bowed, but Joe hugged them. It's me, I'm your brother, just now with an apron of every bright colour. The brothers and sun, moon and stars looked and smiled. But above all, God loved what he'd dreamed for this child. Quite an up and down story. Lots of bumps, a bumpy ride, like being on a very bumpy old bus. What do you think? What are your dreams? And what do you reckon God's dreams are for your life?